In this video, we are going to talk about electrolytes on a carnivore diet, what they are, why they matter, and how to balance them correctly. Electrolytes can seriously make or break your results on a carnivore diet. Just last week, I had a subscriber asking me why she was experiencing heart palpitations since switching to carnivore. We realized that her sodium intake was probably lower than it should be, and since making that change, the palpitations have went away. In this video, I am going to talk about sodium, potassium, magnesium, and calcium, signs you are not getting enough of them, and how to balance them for optimal health. Before we begin, I would like to thank 𝗖𝗟𝗏 for sponsoring today's video. 𝗖𝗟𝗏 is an Australian company that offers ancestral health staples for holistic modern living. They have a range of ancient salts, rich in electrolytes, and healthy fats, such as grass-fed ghee. I will talk more about their products and how they can help you balance your electrolytes later in this video, but if you want to check them out, you can head to 𝗖𝗟𝗏.com.au. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name's Kate. I'm a health coach and I post videos on a high-fat, nutrient-dense way of eating. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, feel free to share, and make sure to subscribe. And make sure to follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, where I share new posts every single day. What are electrolytes? Electrolytes are essential minerals that are key for so many functions within the body. They regulate nerve and muscle function, hydrate the body, balance blood acidity and pressure, and help rebuild damaged tissue. On any version of a low carbohydrate diet, whether that be a carnivore diet or a keto diet, we need more electrolytes. This is because when insulin levels are low, as they are when you restrict carbohydrates, the kidneys excrete more sodium, and this disrupts other electrolyte levels as well. We are going to start today talking about sodium because I believe it to be the most important. Then we'll move on to potassium, magnesium, and finally calcium. Sodium. The presence of sodium is essential for muscle contractions, the largest and most important of which being the heart. As I said at the start of this video, if you are experiencing heart palpitations, upping your sodium is going to be the place that you want to start. Other signs of a sodium deficiency include fatigue, headaches, weakness, and trouble focusing. Now, it is important to distinguish the difference between salt and sodium. I think this throws a lot of people off when they are trying to measure their intake. Salt is made up of sodium and chloride, so this means that 1 gram of salt is not equal to 1 gram of sodium, which is a mistake I often see people making. In reality, there is a bit under 400 milligrams of sodium in 1 gram of salt, so you might be consuming less than half of what you thought you were. So how much sodium should we be aiming to get each day? The average person requires between 3 and 6 grams of sodium every day. But as I already said, when we are eating a low carbohydrate diet, that need can increase. 5 grams of sodium is a good place to start if you are sedentary. That equals out to be about 2 1/4 teaspoons. Exercise and physical activity increase our need for sodium as well, as we lose some from sweat. And this goes if you live in a hot climate too. If you are pretty active, I would start with trying to get 7 grams of sodium every day, which is about 3 teaspoons. You will be able to get some sodium from your food, but probably not enough to meet your required amount. 100 grams of beef contains only 54 milligrams, and a cup of bone broth is a better source with about 500 milligrams. So it is really important that you use a high quality salt to salt your food generously and also to add to your water. I start every day adding half a teaspoon to my water bottle. And here is where today's sponsor comes in. 𝗖𝗟𝗏 is an Australian company based in Melbourne that has a range of ancient salts that are rich in electrolytes. Each salt has a different trace mineral and electrolyte content, but for the purposes of sodium, I recommend their sea salt flakes. This sea salt is sourced from the Great Ocean Road in Victoria, Australia. They use a traditional panning method in order to retain trace minerals. Like I said before, I start my days by adding half a teaspoon into my water. I will also continue to salt my water throughout the day, and I use it to salt my food generously as well. If you want to check out 𝗖𝗟𝗏𝗧𝗏, they currently only ship within Australia, but they will be expanding to international shipping soon. You can head to their website, 𝗖𝗟𝗏𝗧𝗏.com.au to learn more. Thanks again to 𝗖𝗟𝗏𝗏 for sponsoring this video. Potassium. Potassium and sodium try to remain in balance within the body. When sodium is low, it not only impacts sodium levels, but potassium as well. The kidneys will try to reabsorb more sodium while excreting more potassium to maintain the balance. Signs of a potassium deficiency include muscle cramps and muscle twitching, as well as heart palpitations. On a carnivore diet, you require between 3 to 4.8 grams of potassium every day. And potassium is a bit easier to get from our food than sodium is. 100 grams of beef has 350 milligrams of potassium, meaning that if you eat a 300-gram steak, this is a bit over 1 gram. 100 grams of mackerel is an even better source with about 520 milligrams. And even better, 100 grams of bacon has 550 milligrams. Bone broth is also a good source with 450 milligrams. A couple of steaks and a couple cups of bone broth, and you've probably day. Again, if you are more active, you probably require a bit more. And if you do not think you are getting enough, you can always supplement. But just know that too much concentrated potassium can be dangerous. So don't start supplementing without careful consideration. Magnesium. Magnesium helps to maintain proper muscle function and nerve function. It supports your immune system and regulates your heartbeat. Signs of a magnesium deficiency include muscle twitching and muscle cramps, heart palpitations, fatigue, and constipation. Now, you might be thinking a lot of the signs of deficiency between the 3 electrolytes so far have been pretty similar, so how can you tell which one you are deficient in? If you're experiencing any of the symptoms that go for all 3, I would suggest starting by upping your sodium, then move to magnesium, and if that hasn't fixed the problem, then go to potassium last. Most people require about 400 milligrams a day, but again, this can be higher if you are active. 100 grams of beef has 20 milligrams, 100 grams of mackerel has 100 milligrams, and 100 grams of sardines has 40 milligrams. You can supplement using tablets or a powder if you don't feel like you're getting enough. And another way to supplement it is transdermally. 𝗖𝗟𝗏𝗧𝗏 has a pure magnesium oil, which I love. It is one of the most concentrated magnesium oils on the market. The oil is formulated here in Australia using magnesium chloride flakes from the Dead Sea in Israel. And 𝗖𝗟𝗏𝗧𝗏 really prioritizes the sourcing of their products. They source their magnesium flakes from the Dead Sea in Israel because it is the purest source available. You can spray this directly on sore muscles or joints, or you can simply spray it on your stomach if you just want to increase your levels. Again, really great products from 𝗖𝗟𝗏𝗧𝗏. I'm so happy to be working with them on this video. Calcium. Calcium is important for bone health, muscle contractions, and blood clotting. The RDA is set at 1 gram per day, but a lot of people think that this is set too high. This is because calcium needs vitamin D and vitamin K to be absorbed in the body, and most modern diets are highly lacking in both of these. To make up for the poor absorption rate, the thinking was to increase the RDA, but this isn't really a solution. Even with the RDA being set high, it is still hard to get a decent amount of calcium if you are only eating steak. 100 grams of beef has only 12 milligrams. If you are including dairy, this is the easiest way to get a good amount. 100 grams of Parmesan takes you over the RDA with 1.1 grams of calcium. Other cheeses, yogurts, butters all have a decent amount as well. And 100 grams of sardines has about 380 milligrams. Grinding eggshells into a powder and sprinkling that on your food is another option. And before you go adding cheese back into your diet in an attempt to up your calcium, please watch my other video about cheese on a carnivore diet because it isn't for everyone. And if you are still worried about getting enough calcium on a carnivore diet, here's something to consider. There is a clinic in Hungary called Paleomedicina, which uses a Paleolithic ketogenic diet to treat patients. The diet the patients are fed is basically only meat, organs, and bone broth with no dairy. And their patients show no signs of calcium deficiency, so take that for what you will. One last thing I will add before we wrap up is that another sign of an electrolyte deficiency can be cravings. So if you are eating a carnivore diet and you're finding that you are always hungry, you might need to up your electrolytes. And that is everything you need to know about electrolytes on a carnivore diet. Let me know in the comments down below if you upped your electrolyte intake and if you experienced any benefits. And if you're in Australia and looking for a good source of sodium and magnesium, make sure to head to 𝗖𝗟𝗂𝗏.com.au to check out their ancient salts and other products. Thank you guys for watching. If you found this video helpful, feel free to share it with your friends and family. If you would like to check out my video that is all about the importance of salt, you can click here. If you would like to catch up on my most recent upload, you can click here. And if you are interested in starting a keto or carnivore diet, you can check out my coaching programs here. Thanks again, guys. I'll see you next time. Bye.